They say when Amaka was born, the midwife gasped, not because she cried early or had 10 fingers and 10 toes, but because of her lips. Sharp, pointed, and perfectly shaped like a sculptor's final stroke. Not too full, not too thin, just enough curve to make a man stammer and a woman squint with envy. She go talk well, the midwife said, wiping sweat from her brow. She go talk too much, Mama Amaka muttered, already sensing trouble. Amaka's father, Papa Amaka, was a quiet man, a palm wine tapper with hands like tree bark and a heart soft as boiled yam. He held his daughter like she was made of moonlight. But fate, as it often does in Umueze, had other plans. One rainy season later, Papa Amaka slipped from a palm tree and never woke up. From that day, Mama Amaka raised Amaka alone with grit, grace, and a cane that had no respect for nonsense. She sold palm wine, read dreams, and warned her daughter daily, "Your mouth is a gift, don't turn it into a weapon." But Amaka was born with more than lips. She was born with beauty. By the time Amaka turned 16, she had become a walking distraction. Her skin glowed like roasted groundnut. Her waist curved like the letter S, written by a calligrapher in love. Her eyes sparkled with mischief, and her pointed lips, they were now the talk of the village. Men stumbled over firewood when she passed. Women adjusted their wrappers and whispered, "She's too fine for her own good." Even the chief's son, who claimed to be immune to beauty, once dropped his kola nut mid-sentence when Amaka smiled. But beauty, as Mama Amaka often said, is only half the story. A beautiful mouth is nothing if it speaks foolishness. And Amaka's mouth, it was beautiful until it opened. Amaka didn't just talk. She wagged her mouth like a tail on a hyperactive dog. She spoke about everything from the priest's missing sandals to the herbalist's suspicious cough. She had opinions on rainfall, yam sizes, and why the village rooster was secretly depressed. She didn't gossip. She broadcasted. One time, she told the entire market that the chief's wife was using bleaching cream made from snail mucus. Another time, she claimed the village teacher was secretly dating the widow who sold bitter leaf and that their love letters were hidden inside plantain leaves. Her words were spicy, dramatic, and dangerously accurate. She had a talent for mixing truth with exaggeration, like pepper soup with too much pepper. Then came the day she sent a pregnant woman into depression. It was market day. The sun was hot, the air smelled of smoked fish, and Amaka was in full form. She saw Mama Ifeoma, 8 months pregnant and waddling like a tired duck. Amaka leaned toward her friend and whispered loud enough for 3 stalls to hear, "I swear, that bell no be her husband own. Look the nose, look the leg. That baby go resemble the tailor." By evening, the story had spread like wildfire. Mama Ifeoma locked herself in her hut, refused to eat, and cried for 2 days straight. Her husband threatened to beat someone. The tailor denied everything. The village elders held a meeting. "And Amaka?" she said. "I only said what I saw. Is it my fault? The truth is loud." Mama Amaka nearly fainted. But Amaka's mouth wasn't just destructive. It was powerful. One time, her best friend Chinyere was being bullied by Ngozi, the village troublemaker with fists like mortar and a tongue like sandpaper. Ngozi had mocked Chinyere's stutter, called her yam head, and even poured water on her wrapper. Chinyere cried. Amaka stepped in. She didn't throw punches. She threw words. "Ngozi, your mouth smells like expired ogbono. Your brain is still looking for network. You walk like your legs are arguing. And your wig, it looks like rat fur soaked in palm oil." Ngozi froze. The crowd gasped. Chinyere stopped crying. Amaka continued. "You bully people because your shadow refuses to follow you. Even your ancestors are tired of your wahala." Ngozi dropped her bucket, turned around, and went home. She didn't come out for 3 days. From that day, Amaka was known as the girl who could fight with her mouth. She didn't need fists. Her tongue was sharper than a machete. People admired her. People feared her. Children imitated her. Elders avoided her. Her pointed lips, once seen as a symbol of beauty, had become a warning sign. If Amaka talks about you, they said, your secrets will wear wrapper and dance in the market. Mama Amaka watched her daughter with a mix of pride and dread. She's smart, she told the river, but her mouth is faster than her destiny. Amaka's mouth had become more than sharp, it had become dangerous. She no longer needed fists, charm, or even facts. Her words could bend people's will, stir chaos, and crack peace like dry calabash. At first, she used it for petty gain, free akara from Mama Bisi, extra palm wine from the tapper boy, and silence from noisy children. But soon, her words began to control people. She told a man to slap his brother. He did. She told a woman to confess her affair. She did. She told the village drummer to play upside down. He did, and broke his drum. The villagers began to whisper. Her mouth is no longer hers. She speaks, and the world obeys. Even the spirits are listening. Mama Amaka watched her daughter with growing fear. This mouth, she said one night, is now a machete, and machetes don't know mercy. Then came the day Amaka crossed the line. A man named Obinna had died suddenly, a respected farmer, strong and kind. His widow, Nkiru, was still in mourning, her wrapper dusty, her eyes swollen, her voice barely a whisper. Amaka saw her at the stream and said loud enough for the breeze to carry, she killed him. Look at her eyes. That's not grief, that's guilt. The words spread like wildfire. By evening, Obinna's family was at Nkiru's compound, shouting, accusing, demanding answers. Nkiru wept, denied, begged, but the damage was done. The village turned cold. Her name became poison. Amaka, meanwhile, laughed with her friends. I only said what everyone was thinking. The village didn't need proof. They had gossip, and gossip in Umueze was stronger than evidence. Whispers turned into stares. Stares turned into silence. Silence turned into rage. By the third night, Obinna's family, still mourning, still angry, arrived at Nkiru's compound with lanterns, machetes, and fury. They didn't knock. They didn't speak. They simply entered, grabbed her few belongings, and threw them into the dust. You killed our son, one uncle spat. You cursed our bloodline. Another hissed. You will not sleep in his house again. Nkiru begged. She cried. She clutched the doorframe like it was her last breath. But grief had turned the family into stone. They dragged her out, barefoot, wrapper torn, hair undone, and left her in the street like a forgotten calabash. It was midnight. The moon watched in silence. The wind refused to blow. Even the crickets paused. Nkiru walked, ran through the village, sobbing, clutching her bundle of clothes, her dignity unraveling with every step. She passed the market square, where she once sold okra with laughter. She passed the shrine, where she once prayed for her husband's healing. She passed the compound of Amaka, who slept peacefully, her mouth curled in satisfaction, her dreams sweet with victory. Nkiru paused outside Amaka's window. She stared. She didn't speak. She simply cried, the kind of cry that makes the air heavy. Then she turned and walked toward the river. The river was quiet, too quiet. Nkiru knelt at the edge, her knees sinking into the mud, her tears mixing with the water. She looked up at the stars and whispered not to the sky, but to the spirits. Let her mouth carry the weight of my pain. Let her tongue stretch with every lie she told. Let her beauty rot with the poison she spread. She dipped her fingers into the river, just as her grandmother once taught her, and spoke the words of the old curse, the one reserved for betrayal, for injustice, for wounds that words cannot heal. The river rippled. The frogs croaked, once then fell silent. The wind picked up, just enough to carry her whisper. And somewhere, in her sleep, Amaka stirred. The morning after Nkiru's midnight curse, Amaka woke up feeling like her face had swallowed a yam tuber. Her jaw was heavy, her lips were dragging, her neck was screaming for help. She sat up slowly, touched her mouth and screamed, "Mama!" Mama Amaka rushed in, wrapper flying, broom in hand. She saw her daughter's mouth and dropped the broom. Chineke, Amaka, your mouth has entered the next village. It was long, not just long, ridiculously long. It stretched past her chin, curled like a sleeping snake, and flopped like boiled okra. Her once beautiful, pointed lips now looked like a tired plantain peel. Amaka tried to speak, but her mouth was so heavy she had to hold it with both hands just to form words. Ma, I can't. Her voice came out like a goat chewing sand. Mama Amaka wept. I warned you, I told you. Now your mouth has outrun your destiny. After 2 days of hiding, Amaka had to leave the compound. They needed water. They needed food. They needed answers. The reaction? Chaos. Children screamed. Goats ran. Old women crossed themselves. And the villagers who didn't like her, they rejoiced like it was Christmas. Longmouth is coming. Cover your secrets. She might leak them by accident. Her mouth has finally matched her gossip. One man even shouted, Amaka, your mouth can sweep the compound. She cried. Her tears soaked the wrapper. Her pride melted like palm oil in the sun. Mama Amaka held her hand and whispered, let them laugh, we'll find help. After 3 more days of humiliation, they went to Baba Odenigbo, the village herbalist. His hut smelled of pepper, secrets, and expired wisdom. He examined Amaka's mouth, poked it with a stick, and hummed like a broken flute. This is not ordinary mouth elongation. This is spiritual stretch. Mama Amaka gasped. So what do we do? Baba Odenigbo dipped his fingers into a bowl of snail slime and said, only the one who cursed her can undo it. You must find the widow. Amaka groaned. Her mouth flopped. Widow, Nkiru. They packed their wrappers, tied herbs to their waists, and set off to the next village, where Nkiru had fled after being disgraced. It was a long walk. Amaka's mouth dragged behind her like a stubborn goat. At one point, a child asked if she was carrying a snake. They arrived dusty, tired, and desperate. They found Nkiru sitting under a mango tree, peeling oranges with the calmness of someone who had made peace with the world. Amaka knelt. Her mouth hit the ground with a soft thud. She cried. She begged. She held her mouth like a broken trophy. I'm sorry. I lied. Please. Mama Amaka joined her, tears in her eyes. Nkiru looked at them, sighed, and said, you want forgiveness? Then go back to Umueze and tell the truth. Loudly, publicly. Let your mouth undo what it did. Amaka nodded. Her mouth flopped again. Back in Umueze, Amaka stood in the village square. She took a deep breath, held her mouth, and shouted, I lied about Nkiru. The crowd froze. She didn't kill her husband. I made it up. I was wrong. Gasps. Murmurs. One old woman dropped her calabash. Amaka continued. I was foolish. My mouth was faster than my brain. I am sorry. Then she collapsed, mouth still in her hands. Mama Amaka helped her home. The next morning, Amaka woke up and something felt different. Her face was light. Her jaw was free. Her lips were normal. She ran to the mirror and screamed. My mouth is back. She danced. She rolled on the floor. She kissed her reflection. Maman Kem entered and smiled. Now you know. A mouth is not for destruction. Amaka nodded. From today, I will keep shut. And she did. No more gossip. No more gist. No more drama. Whenever she felt the urge to speak, she simply nodded like a wise tortoise. The villagers called her Silent Amaka, and the parrot that used to follow her, it flew away, bored. In Umueze, they now say, if your mouth is too sweet, one day it will stretch like chewing gum, and every child knows gossip may be spicy, but silence is golden.